All right, everybody, these are the 9.7 notes right here. I think I'll be able to get these in one video. If not, we'll stretch to two. It's not going to be too terribly long. So vertex form. So what is vertex form? So this is basically kind of the basic way of how we write it. It's different from, like, say, the ax squared plus bx plus c that we were working with before. So this was like our so this is standard form. And this is what we call vertex form. Now, this is just a different way of writing that out, right? They're basically telling us the same things. They're the same types of equations. It's just a different way of writing it out. Like if we did all the multiplication, did all the distribution, we could make this look like that again. But this is nice because in some instances, it's actually kind of easier to graph because it actually basically gives us the vertex, all right? And also the axis of symmetry. So let's start with the easy. So let's start with the opens up and down first. So these rules are essentially the same, all right? If A is positive and if A is negative, all right? So this stuff is essentially the same stuff. A is positive, A is negative. That stuff is the same, all right? That's it. So now the stuff that's different is the vertex. Now the vertex, I'm actually going to write it over here. It's essentially this number here, h, because again, h and k and a, these are just going to be replaced with numbers, and this k value here. Now, I'll get into this more as when we start doing this, but this h value, it's going to be opposite the sign right here. And so, and this k value is going to be the same value, same as that sign. It's going to be plus k. So for instance, if it was like x minus 5 and squared and then plus 3, it would be positive 5 here, positive 3. Because again, it's the same sign, same opposite sign. So h and k. So that's our vertex. So again, these two numbers, they give you the vertex. Axis of symmetry has always been the x value of our vertex. So it's just going to be x equals h, the x value of your vertex. All right? So that stuff's a little bit easier, okay? The y-intercept is probably the one part that's not the easiest part, but it's also not that much more difficult either, all right? Because all we have to do, and we've already been doing this, it's just been kind of easier with the standard form, but all we have to do is just plug in 0 for x and see what we get, okay? So that's really all we have to do for the y-intercept. Again, don't just assume that it's just this k value out here. All right, that's a k. All right, I know my k's don't look very good. Actually, let me erase that. Let me rewrite that better. Come on. Plus this k. All right. So it's not just this k value here. Again, we have to plug in 0 for x in order to get the y-intercept. Okay. But that's basically all that changes with vertex form. I mean, graphing it and finding like the solutions, that's all the same stuff, okay? So what we're going to do now, so 1/2 x plus 2 squared minus 2. Well, does it open up or down? Let's look at the number out front here, just like we were doing before. It's positive, so it's going to open up, which means it's going to be a minimum value, okay? Vertex, I usually find the vertex first and then the axis of symmetry. I have 2 here. That's my h. This is my k. Opposite the sign inside the parentheses, that's my x value, so it's going to be negative 2. K stays the same, so it's going to be negative 2. So negative 2, negative 2. Because again, the k on the outside goes here. This stays the same. The plus 2 is going to change to a negative 2 right here for the x value. Okay? Alrighty. Now the axis of symmetry is the x value of my vertex. So x equals negative 2. All right? I'm going to go ahead and plug in the vertex right in the middle here. The graphing is going to stay the same. All right? Y-intercept, plug in 0 for x. 1/2, 0 plus 2 squared minus 2. 0 plus 2 is 2. Squared is 4. 4 times 1/2 is 2. Minus 2, that's going to get me 0. So my y-intercept, oh shoot, it's just going to be 0, all right? Solutions, we'll get back to that. Domain is still the same, negative infinity to positive infinity. Range is also still the same. So do I open up or down? I open up. So I'm going to go to positive infinity on the right side. And then on the left side, I'm just going to put the y value of my vertex, which is -2 with a bracket. Okay? Alrighty. Now the graphing and all that stuff, that's the same. Alright? I can still set it up the same way. So I'm going to go -1, 0, -3, -4. And just as it did before, these two are going to match up, and these two are going to match up. Okay? And shoot, as I've stated before, I know this value because of this 0 right here. I plug in 0 for y. What did I do down here when I plugged in 0 for x? I got 0. So I already know without even doing any math, that's y value is 0, which means that this -4 is 0 as well. Again, if the x value is 0, that's the same as the y-intercept. Alright, if the x value is 0. So now all we have to do is plug in either -1 and -3. I'm going to plug in -1. So we got 1/2, -1 plus 2 squared minus 2. 1 squared is, well, just 1 times 1/2. That's going to get me 0.5 minus 2. That's going to equal -1.5. So that's going to go here, -1.5. Same as right here, going to be -1.5. So let's go ahead and plug it in. -2, -2. 0, 0, -4, 0. -1, 1.5. That's around right there. -3, -1.5. That's around right there. Connecting the dots. Get something that looks something like that. Alright. Now the solutions. Do I have any zeros in my y values? I have one here, and I have one here. Now once I find those zeros, I just find the x values. The x value there is 0. X value there is -4. So my solutions are going to be 0 and -4. And if I look at my x solutions, once again, are the x-intercepts. Intercept at -4, intercept at 0. Look at that. All right? All right. I'll do another one here. How many more I got left? Just this last one here, okay? All righty, so let's take a look here. Opens up or down. There's no number out in front, but I got this negative sign out front. So what that's telling me is that this is going to open down. It's essentially the same as having a -1 out front. Now my value is going to be, if it opens down, remember, it's a max, all right? It's going to look something like this. Axis of symmetry. Actually, no, vertex first. My h value, my k value. Inside the parentheses, opposite sign, that's going to be the x value. -3, opposite sign turns into +3. Now the y value is the k. K is on the outside here. But as you see, well, there's no numbers out back here. So all I would just write out there would just be +0. So my vertex, my y value, my vertex is just going to be 0. I'm going to put that in here. Axis of symmetry, x equals the x value of my vertex, so that's going to be x equals 3. Y-intercept, I need to plug in 0 for x, so negative of 0 minus 3 squared, that's going to get me -3 squared, which is going to be 9. Put the negative out front, that's going to be -9. So I got y-intercept is going to be -9. -9, okay? Domain, I got myself -infinity to infinity all the time. That's for every domain problem. Range opens down, so I'm going to down. So I'm going to start with -infinity. Not a very good infinity, but whatever. And I'm going to go to the y value of then the number here is going to be the y value of my vertex. So this 0 with a parenthesis, with a bracket right there. Okay? So now let's go ahead and graph, or fill out the table. So 2 and 1, 4 and 5. Plug in 2 for x. 2 minus 3 gives me -1 squared, which is 1, but with the negative out front, turns into -1. So the 2 is going to be -1. The 4 is going to be -1. I'm actually going to plug in 5. I plug that one in down here. So -5 minus 3 squared. 5 minus 3 squared is 2 squared. Do the squared first. That turns into 4 with a negative out front. Makes it negative. So we got negative 4 and negative 4. Okay? There we go. There we go. So now let's go ahead and graph some of these here. So we're going to have 3, 0, which is around there. 2, negative 1, 2, negative 1, 4, negative 1, 1, negative 5, 5, negative 1, no, negative 5, excuse me, or negative 4, excuse me. Actually, no, the negative 4, that should be moved up to right here, actually. Excuse me. There and right here. And the 9's right about down there, so it's going to be kind of crossing down at that point. So, alrighty, so now let's look for solutions. Do I have any y values that are 0? If I look, 0 right here. What's the x value attached to it? 3. Do I have any other y values that are 0? I do not. So 3 is my only solution. And if I look at the x-intercept here, there is only 1, 2, 4 in between is 3, so there's only 1 at 3. So hey, it matches up. Okay? All right, so that has been graphing in vertex form and also in standard form. Thank you guys for watching, and I will get some more videos out soon. Thank you.